Well, hello and welcome to all of our viewers around the world. I'm Fiona Lang-Sharp, IBCLC Director of Communications and MC here at Gold Learning. Well, welcome back. This series is all about our tongue tie symposium. I'm so excited. There's so many fantastic presenters here this year. And as you can see, I'm sitting here with Effath Yasmin, who is back with us here at Gold. Welcome back, Yasmin. It's so good to have you here.
It's always a pleasure to be with you, Fiona. I'm so excited for this symposium as well because there's so
Yes.
many beautiful topics that you come up with, something advanced, something trying to keep up to whatever is happening in
Yes.
the field. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're talking about this a lot right now, is just keeping up with the research because there's still a lot of, misinformation that's out there. Lots of people that are doing self-diagnoses and all those types of things. And we really just want to get the information to our clients. And, when I thought about this topic, so I'll just let everybody know what you're speaking to: post Frenotomy, wound management, and bodily autonomy. I could not have thought of a better person to be speaking to this topic. It's so important. The combination of, wound management and bodily autonomy is so important. And just understanding where this might come in and the important factors that just surround it. So we'll get into the topic in just a minute, Yasmin, but quickly tell me what has been happening in your life, because I know you're always so busy, but you've got so many projects on the go. So share a couple of things of what's coming up for you.
I mean, I recently we're trying to concentrate a little more on trying to support to get the word of ICAP across the world because
Mm-hmm.
it's an international organization. I'm a co-founder on that, as you know, and we've been doing some film screenings
Oh, great.
just to get some conversations going with the different practitioners in different parts of the world because
Mm-hmm.
we still have that huge gap of getting people on the table, Fiona, to
Right.
have just to have a discussion, and
Mm-hmm.
so especially with the main medical professionals,
Mm-hmm.
we want them to hear, we want them to engage in conversation, we want to hear what they have to say, we want them to bring their expertise in understanding about tongue ties, as pediatricians, as ENT specialists, so we don't have them engaging with us yet. So what we
Right.
thought was, what we are doing is we're doing film screenings in different parts of the world, in different cities. We have kicked off one in Mumbai recently
Mm-hmm.
as a part of the World Breastfeeding Week on August 3rd. And it was a
Nice.
fantastic turnout of approximately about 30 healthcare professionals. It was a
Wow.
really good show,
Amazing. Yeah,
And this is the first time, Fiona, that we are having
sure.
people coming only from the healthcare community rather than just having a mixed community of parents, especially because they are the
Right.
ones looking for support. But
Yeah.
now what the scenario seems to be changing across the world, where more of the practitioners, healthcare practitioners, are getting
Right.
interested. They want to know about tongue ties, they want to learn about it, and they're looking for courses, workshops. And I've been talking about Gold to them. So I said the best place you need to go in to look for the courses which are already there for a couple of years now. We've been doing tongue tie symposium for how many years now, Fiona? So I've been talking
Oh
about that
gosh,
quite a lot
several
in
years
India.
now. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
So
and it's only growing. I mean, I think that's the key thing. And we do look at the trends and we listen to the practitioners and what's happening in the field. And is there enough research,
right.
to have a product, because it's really important, I mean, but the demand is there. So people are asking for this information, from you. But let's go back and just talk about what screening you're doing. Tell people, if they haven't heard or don't know about the screenings that you've been doing, what film are they watching?
Okay, so the film they're watching is Untying Breastfeeding, which was once, screened even on Gold a couple of years ago before the COVID. I think it was around that
Yeah.
time. So this film is about the different obstacles that we as a community face around breastfeeding.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a huge haystack because the kind of factors we have to deal with, whether it's to do with education, lack of education amongst the healthcare professionals, or the fact that we are constantly dismissing the pain the women go through during the time of trying to establish breastfeeding. So these are very real factors. And then grief around loss of breastfeeding. If they're not able to
Mm.
establish, and the mothers have to move towards having to use artificial, delivery methods, for example,
Sure.
using bottles or using formula, for example. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not the first choice of any mother,
Sure.
right?
Yeah.
And the evidence for that is we do know that more than 97% of mothers initiate breastfeeding in the first few hours of life.
Right.
But if you're looking at the Indian health family survey, even at the even in the recent times of 2020, actually, the last
Mm-hmm.
survey that happened in 2020, um, the number of babies who are being breastfed exclusively at the breast under the age of 6 months is 46.5%,
Right.
Fiona.
Yeah.
That's like a huge number that's
Huge.
coming down from 97% to
Oh,
about
yeah.
46%, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what's going on? And we have watchdogs around the world. We have many organizations supporting breastfeeding in terms of, um, advocacy, education, and
Sure.
support in all of these
Mm-hmm.
areas. But you see, the numbers aren't really showing as much as we would like it to be.
No. No,
So that
absolutely.
shows that there are many factors, and the
Sure.
film actually covers all of those factors. And it also brings in the angle of support and understanding and evaluation about tongue ties. The film
Yeah.
talks about that in quite detail, actually.
Well,
So,
that's excellent. And I think that the fact that you're gathering these healthcare professionals, like you said, who are really keen to see what is happening in the field, that this is not just about, lactation consultants, this is, there's a whole community of folks that can
yeah,
bring different modalities together and, of course, help treat these families. And so, I
right.
mean, just like yourself, you have different modalities as well. And I know that you are craniosacral therapist, amongst many other things, but I know that you work with families in that way as well. Let's talk a little bit about your presentation, because this is why I think it's very significant you're speaking to this topic. So post-frenotomy, wound management, and bodily autonomy. Tell me some of the things that you just really love sharing in this area, that, when it's, the nuanced behavior that you love sharing.
Right. So when we approach the body, especially because I'm also a body worker, like you mentioned, I do
Mm-hmm.
biodynamic craniosacral therapy. So the approach towards the body is a lot different from what we would normally see in many other modalities. So that got me interested in understanding how can I reorganize my approach towards babies using my knowledge of bodies self autonomy.
Right.
And because the central theme of approaching the body through the modality of craniosacral is the body knows how to reorganize.
Mm,
It has its own intelligence,
mm,
right? So
mm-hmm.
then what it requires is a negotiated contact or touch.
Right.
And that becomes the fundamental understanding about the approach, especially when we are doing an intervention.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you can't get over the fact that you can't really not do a frenotomy, for example, for a baby who
Right.
does have a tongue tie, right?
Yes.
So and then you also need to do a post care
Mm,
around the wound, and that has been a painful phase for most
yes.
parents as
And
well as the healthcare
controversial.
professionals. Yeah, it's
Yeah. And
controversial.
controversial. Yeah.
And one, it's controversial. Second, it's controversial because we don't have research.
Mm-hmm.
uh, we haven't done enough research to understand whether there is a need for wound care, and
Yeah.
if there is a wound care, then how much do we need to do, and
Mm-hmm.
what kind of support do their parents require. So it's been a gray area, Fiona.
Right.
So what I noticed in my practice is that if we have a negotiated approach towards the infant and the
Mm-hmm.
family, then the approach can be extremely gentle and very,
Mm-hmm.
very there is a lot of cooperation.
Mm. Well, I know
And
sorry, go
yeah,
ahead. Yeah.
no, and I found that to be very intriguing. And I said,
Mm.
okay, this is something that I can't really have it within my practice. I really need to help others understand that this is something that we can approach our babies to, and then reduce the amount of um, you know experience around a very difficult
Absolutely.
phase. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I mean, I think you're spot on. I mean, that's the reason why you're here. And I know that there's so much to be learned in this area. So, I know we need a lot of patience, when it comes to this type of thing, particularly because of the lack of research. But there are things that we can agree on. And those are the things that we've been sharing along this series, talking about tongue tie. And I know that you bring a different lens again, being a body worker, and especially being a biodynamic, craniosacral therapist. So this will this will give us a new lens to look at it again and come together, and learn more about what we can do for these families, and particularly when it comes to body autonomy. Well, thank you so much, Yasmin. It's always a pleasure talking to you. I know our time has gone so quickly today, but that gives people a lot of opportunity to come and listen to you again at our tongue tie symposium. So if you want to head over to the website right now at goldlearning.com, you'll be able to register for this event today. You'll also be able to check out not only Yasmin's presentation, but all the other amazing presentations that we have online and ready to go. It will be live. We have 2 days that you can register for. You can choose between 1 or 2 days, whatever you prefer. But we will look forward to seeing you online. I know, Yasmin, you'll look forward to engaging with all of our participants as well, because it's always so important that we're working together. Thank you again so much for being here today.
Thank you so much, Fiona.
And thank you to all of our audience for tuning in once again. We'll look forward to seeing you back here very soon. Bye-bye for now.